Welcome back to Football Heritage TV Plus. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Manchester City, and I believe that they will win the league. I'll put my tin hat on now. Before I get into it, please, if you're new around here, smash the subscribe button, hit the like, and also hit the notification button so that you know when I'm going live for all of my daily videos on all things football, away from my beloved Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Manchester City is a bold claim, isn't it? Me saying they're going to win the league. And I'm sure there are a lot of people right now going, what a clown, he's deluded. But I'm going to explain why. I'm always going to try and give reasoning as to why I think they can still win it and why I think they might win it and will win it. Let's get started, shall we? Now, Man City were miles off it last year. For whatever reason, it wasn't a good year for Manchester City. Foden not in form, Rodri getting injured for the year, lots of injuries to Akanji and Ake and Stones, people saying that Pep Guardiola got it wrong, all of these different things that you can throw into the melting pot and come up with, is that right? Is that wrong? Or had Man City hit a brick wall? 4 league titles in a row. They had the treble. Was it just the end of an era? Did they need the rebuild that everyone talks about for every club? Every time something goes wrong, do they need a rebuild? Well, you would say probably yes, that Man City did need a rebuild. And Man City did need to move players on, the Kyle Walkers, the De Bruynes. But we have seen from the January transfer window and the summer transfer window that Man City have bought plenty of players in, some of which go straight into the 11 and you say, wow, top class player. Some of which you go, good young player that will need time to improve. So into that bracket, you look at the likes of Kusanov. Good young player, needs time to improve, needs time to adapt to the Premier League. You could probably say that about Cherky. Good player. Does he need time to adapt? We're not sure. We're going to find out over the coming weeks, months, and this season. But then you look at people like Marmoush and you say, right, Marmoush, top quality player, goes straight into the 11 when fit. People like Ait Nouri, Premier League experience, knows what it's all about. And then you look at people like Nico Gonzalez, probably a little bit of both, needs time to adapt to the league, but also a very experienced footballer. Now, when you look at those things as well, and we also look at a player like Reinders, who I think adapts straight away, really good midfielder, good box-to-box energy, scores goals, gets forward, likes to be involved in everything that's happening. And I look at that and say, Man City have done some really good business. Now, aside from all of the business they've done, which makes me think they can win the league, you have to look at a few key components. And no, I've not forgotten about Donnarumma. I'm going to come to that in a second. When you look at 2 big components, actually 3 big components. 1, Rodri is back. Now, I don't think anyone can underestimate just how important Rodri is to Manchester City and to Spain as well. But for the purposes of this conversation, how important is Rodri to Manchester City? Well, you would say massively, overly important. Everything runs through Rodri. Now, we can see right now he's building up the match fitness to get back to that 90 minutes week in, week out, dictating games, everything going through him. We can see that he's building to that. But what he does is offer defensive cover, assurance. He is the maestro. He is the conductor. He sits in the middle of the park and he just pulls strings. Do I need to slow the game down? Do I need to speed it up? Will I play a 5-10 yard pass? Do I play a 50-60 yard pass? This guy is everything for Manchester City. And I hope he stays fit because he's a top quality footballer. And aside from supporting another team, I want to watch the best players play. Whether that's at Arsenal or City or Liverpool or Chelsea or Newcastle, whoever it may be for, you want to watch the best players. And Rodri, for me, when fit, is the best player in the world. I've said that numerous times for numerous years. So you've got the Rodri factor. Then you've got the Phil Foden factor. Now, I've always said that the Phil Foden conversation is indicative of how football fans react. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is 18 months ago or less, he was crowned the best player in the league by his peers. He is the best player in the league. He was scoring a bundle of goals, getting loads of assists, getting really important big goals in big games as Manchester City won the title. Player of the year, up there, cloud nine, his pedestal, he's there. Then the season after, like the rest of Man City, he didn't have a great year. I think he said as much in an interview I watched a couple of weeks ago. Wasn't a great year. He felt out of sorts. It wasn't as free-flowing as it was before. The goals weren't coming as freely as before. The assists weren't. But what do football fans do? He's rubbish. Never rated him. Always been, always been overrated. He's not as good as Saka. He's not as good as Palmer. He's not Maddison. Yada, yada, yada. And I've said the whole time, this boy will bounce back. This is a player that has brought himself through the Manchester City Academy in an era where they had David Silva, Yaya Toure, Mahrez, Gundogan, all of these people, Raheem Sterling, this player, that player. And you know what? Through all of that, he managed to break into the 11, stay in the team, while other players around him were being sold. The likes of Leroy Sané went, Mahrez went, this player went, but he's always been there. The Palmers came through the academy and are sold, the McAtees, but Phil Foden didn't, because he's a class footballer. Now, he's starting to get back to somewhat of his best. Seen in the last 2-3 games, grabbing a goal, grabbing an assist, being involved, playing centrally instead of off the wing. This guy, for me, is a difference maker. So if you've got Rodri back fit, Phil Foden, if he can get back to being his best and staying at his best, because I always say about footballers, it's okay being a great footballer, but can you be consistent? And consistency is key. I only rate players when they're consistently good. I don't like this whole, oh my God, he's had 2 great games. He's amazing. Consistency. And we've seen Phil Foden do this before for years. Can he get back to that level? If he can, Man City have one of the best players in the league, one of the best playmakers in the league. And more importantly than that, you've got Rodri. You've got Phil Foden. But that man up top, that robot up top, Erling Haaland, is in frightening form. I believe I saw a stat today. It was something like 17 goals in 11 games for club and country. Frightening. Again, another guy, the hate he gets. He's overrated. He can't play. If he's not scoring, he doesn't do anything. Not true. Watch him. His hold-up play is actually good. His link-up play is good. City are playing different to how they used to. He's dropping to the halfway line. He's linking up now, bringing others into the game, whether it's with his feet or off the chest. He's brilliant at it. Brings them into the game, spins, heads towards goal. The guy is a cyborg in the nicest possible way. He scores goals for fun. Now, you look at those 3, Rodri, Foden, Haaland. If they can keep all 3 of those fit and in form, for me, City win the league. They do. I truly believe that. Now, it's a football opinion. If they don't win the league at the end of the year, you're in the mud. Well, not really. It's a football opinion. People go mad about it. But they are up against a tough Arsenal team. They are up against a tough Liverpool team. And me saying this could look silly in a few days because they have Arsenal away. Now, lose to Arsenal, and all of a sudden it's a big task, isn't it? Because if Liverpool beat Everton and City lose, now they're 9 points off it. And all of a sudden It's a mountain to climb. So me saying this is kind of like, it's putting a bit of a risk on my own opinion there. But I truly believe if Man City can get to Arsenal, get that win, stay up there, build some momentum, start putting some wins together, we could see the City of old, maybe a different version of City, maybe a different version of the City of old, but a City that are frightening, a City that go to teams and roll them over, a City that are strong through the midfield, through the attack and at the back. Now, the bit that I haven't talked about, but did mention his name just now, a huge, huge bonus for Manchester City is the arrival of Donnarumma. This guy is massive. And I don't just mean in stature, in importance, in height. He is massive for Manchester City because he will save them points on his own. He's a phenomenal shot stopper. He will command his area. He comes out and punches that ball and it goes to the halfway line. This is a guy with presence, something that James Trafford doesn't have, that presence. When you're bearing down on goal, when you're up against Donnarumma, he makes himself big, a bit like what the Peter Schmeichels did of this world. So for me, that adds another factor into Manchester City and why they could win the league. Now, if they don't, they don't. But I do think they're going in the right direction. Me saying they will win the league isn't a big drama. It isn't you said this, gutted. I don't care. It's a football opinion. But what we do know is if you've got a fully fit Donnarumma and a fully fit Rodri, Foden, Haaland, Pep Guardiola are on his game, City are a force to be reckoned with. But the last player I want to talk about is a player that I've always rated. And I said last year, I thought he was getting better and better. I said in the summer, I feel he's going to have a big year this year. Now, you don't all have to agree with me. Many won't. Many will. Beauty of football, right? But Jeremy Doku, for me, I've always been a big fan. I love a winger that can beat a man. I love a winger that's got that trickery, that's direct, that their first thought is, can I get forward? But obviously, what he's had thrown it in the last couple of years, and with absolute merit to that, is, has he got the output? Yes, he's got all the skills and the pace and the trickery. But has he got the output to go with all of that flash skill and that pace? Well, this season, when I'm watching him, he looks different. It looks like the end product's starting to get there. We saw a brilliant goal for him last night against Napoli. We saw a couple of brilliant assists from him the other day. For me, Jeremy Doku is one of those that is going to come into his own. I think that we're ready to see him explode as a footballer. I could be wrong again, could be wrong. But I think a really, really quality footballer. If you can start adding the goals and assists a bit more regularly, nothing can stop him. He's clearly the first choice and preferred by Pep Guardiola. But now we're seeing he's getting a bit older, a bit maturer. He's now had a couple of years to get used to the league and used to Guardiola. Can he be the difference maker? Now, many of you will be completely disagreeing. I'm welcoming any conversation in the chat, and I will come back to your comments. I'm always open to having the chat. So please let me know your thoughts on those players. Haaland, for me, will be the top Premier League goal scorer again. Foden, I think, is going to have a good year. Same with Doku. Hopefully, Rodri gets back to his best. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But let's see if I'm wrong, first and foremost. And as you can see, it's a big shout, isn't it? Sitting there, Man City 6 points off the top. But it is early days. All it takes is a couple of slip-ups from Liverpool, and they're right back in there. However, as I said, Liverpool beat Everton tomorrow, and then Man City lose to Arsenal. It's a 9-point gap, and it's a mountain to climb. But you know what? Sometimes you've got to put your hat in the ring. You've got to give a prediction, which isn't the obvious one. Let's see what happens. As I said before, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Smash the like button. And you know what? I know what I'll get. A lot of people saying stick to your own club. I like talking about all football. So I don't apologize for that. And that's why I've reignited this channel. Much love. Take care. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Man City will win the league.